It's a big deer, dude.
That's a really big deer.
Yeah.
Let me see if I'm going. I don't see why don't I see our comments? How do I do that?
I think it's a setting.
Like
it probably has to be on when you turn it on.
I thought I've turned it on.
It is good pizza. Walmart pizza.
No sound?
No.
No, I didn't come with a crossbow. We wouldn't be allowed to stay in here. People jumping on this one?
There's got to be sound.
I'm trying to figure out.
No, why we're wearing Predator. Can you guys hear us, by the way?
I'm sorry, I'm seeing this too. I don't know why that one's not showing our the comments.
Okay, you can hear us? Say yes again.
This sucks.
Oh yeah.
Loud and clear?
Yeah, we got sound here. Yeah, you got 127 people in here. That was.
You're on both now. Just put your mic up here just in case they want to hear us. I can't see any comments though, which sucks. Okay.
Oh, here, I'll wear it if you want. You're gonna hear us eating though.
That's fine. That'll be all right. Bark twice if you're in Milwaukee.
If you don't want to hear us chewing, go on the
Instagram
Live.
I don't know why it's doing this, guys. Possibly we're just idiots and Nick's not here. If you want to comment to us, go on the Instagram that Jared's got on. We've got an Instagram Live going on. Beers are flowing great. Oh, that's our pipe stacks guy. He also pipe stacks. I remember you commented on my gas mileage. Yeah, it wasn't great coming out.
No, Seth, we sold our Sitka. We're wearing Predator. We've had this stuff forever. Yeah, it's good stuff. No comments on
Levi, what's up, brother?
Somebody else said no sound on here.
No,
turn that is.
Get your mute off. Yeah, Levi. Dude, I don't know if you saw it.
I called.
Of course you did.
I said Levi deserves a call.
Mm-hmm. Oh, can't see me? Fuck. Hold on. Give me a second in terms of stand pots. There we go. Mm-hmm.
Boy, what a night.
Can't comment on the tube. Yeah, Jordan, I don't know what the fuck's wrong with that thing. You know what it is? Trump's got 205 electoral votes. That's why you can't comment on the tube right now.
They're censoring us.
They know that we've got some serious pull here with the election.
Yeah.
They know. As crazy as it seems, we are 65 electoral votes away from Donald Trump becoming the 47th president. Seems like a long way off, and probably is, but, you know, red wave, baby. Any update on CJ Alexander? You want to talk about CJ? People probably went, but yeah, we're at a good point. Let's talk about CJ. You talked to him.
Well, yeah, I gave the update.
That's it.
Since when? I mean, yeah, he's awaiting sentencing. Sounds like December 11th. I think that is. It sounds like it's going to be like a $40,000 fine. 5 to 10 years without a license.
He's going to a class
and
or
5
something?
years probation. Yeah, with some kind of a program or something attached to that. But he basically, I think, admitted to. I think he took a plea deal, but basically that's admitting guilt to shooting the deer off. The DA. I don't know for sure if it was the DA's property, but the property that everybody thought that he shot it on, he did, as opposed to his sister's. And then it sounds like, and I don't know if this is a part of the case or just what he told me, but he's, he basically, the part of his plea is like, well, I had verbal permission at a certain point, and he lied to us. And so I don't know if that's true or not, but I can see a situation where that happened. And so I don't know. In the state of Ohio, it's not good enough. Technically, it's not legal. But anyways, that was it. So
yeah. Cameron.
Straight to jail.
Cameron's right.
You look at us wrong. Straight to
Shoot
jail.
a buck. Hopefully, make money. Find yourself $40,000 in the hole. Not a great strategy.
No,
That's a bold move, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off.
Not great. Not great.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, and I mean, I know a lot of people have listened to other podcasts, especially since the documents have been put out.
This guy's asking. I mean, he never got that Hoyt, so
no, never got
it. It was in the process of sending stuff, so I think he got a stabilizer or something. But
got stabbed.
And he was cool about it. Maybe he did even send that back. I don't remember, but
we could have CJ back on. He said he wanted to. Frankly, we're just in a position where it's like, I don't know. Yeah, it'd be cool to hear the full story. But you also have to believe the full story. So at this point, I think we're kind of over it. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
But we'll see. Never know in the future on that stuff.
The one guy here was asking, so it ended up not being a gut shot.
What did?
My shot.
Oh, your shot.
Yeah, so I hit the deer back. It was a bad shot. I rushed it. I told the whole story kind of earlier on that first YouTube channel. Basically, I hit him back. My initial thought was guts. So obviously not good. My heart kind of sank on that. Also, dead deer. I'm like, that's a fatal hit. And also, we're close to the property line. So, best, it worked out absolutely as best as it could. The deer ran 20 yards. I ended up catching, I don't know if it's the femoral artery or
No, it's not the femoral.
What's it called?
I think it's one of the aorta.
Yeah.
It runs right under the spine.
Yeah, I cut the artery right under the spine. And and he ran 20 yards and tipped over, stone dead. So that's where I hit the deer.
Pretty wild.
Got lucky on that. Yeah, truthfully.
So, honestly, I didn't pay it. Bowmar had said that it was a steeper angle than he thought. Did it end up going into the guts?
I'm sure it did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it really just severed that artery.
I didn't really spend a lot of time.
Dude, that arrow was painted.
Oh yeah, it was the best looking arrow I've ever seen.
That's insane.
Yeah, I mean straight. I mean direct in the artery. You and
your dad with the arteries.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I'm good horizontally. I can catch that, that vein running like this,
Mm-hmm. Better watch out.
Yeah.
Currently, the state we're in, boom, Iowa, Donald Trump called.
We're at?
Iowa.
In Iowa.
Mm-hmm. We're up to 211. 211 to 117. If I do the math, 59 away from 270. Cool, man. Well, we freaking love that everybody's on the YouTube. Sorry that it cut out earlier. We had almost 500 people on there earlier, which was really cool. Love having everybody on Instagram here. That's awesome to just be able to chat back and forth here. So, I guess Jared and I are obviously shoving our faces with pizza because we're freaking starving. It's 9:40 and we're finally catching dinner. If you guys are on the Instagram chat, because that's where we can see these, if you got questions, we're not going anywhere.
I did show the buck. Somebody's asking here. I don't know if you can go back and watch.
You can. I think once the Instagram feed is live, you can go back and watch it.
All right. So towards the beginning of this, I went out and showed everybody.
Do people freak out?
Jared's stuffing that pizza. Yeah, that's how I eat. What? I don't know. I think so.
What do you mean? You didn't see the comments? Like people were like, "Oh my god!" Jared.
No, I was just preoccupied with not with talking. So
I always think deer like that.
I can't read and speak.
It's not even deer like that. It's just like any deer is really weird without like some sort of foundational like scaling feature in it. Like if it's just in the truck bed and it's like, look at this deer. It's like, looks big.
He's big.
Yeah. Well, the pictures we showed during the YouTube stuff was really, I thought, impressive.
Cleared hot bow hunting. Says Jared, what's next after shooting this classic buck? Shoot another one.
Going back to shoot a mature 130 in Ohio.
Yeah.
Probably.
Well, this season, yeah, I mean, I'm done in Iowa, obviously. So I mean, immediately it's film Jeremy, try to get on something else.
We both have 2 Illinois.
Technically,
tags.
the trip is not started yet. We were not supposed to hunt until tomorrow, so we're fresh start tomorrow. After that, regroup, and week before Thanksgiving, I'm going to go somewhere, whether it's
Illinois, probably
Illinois or the farm or you know. Yeah, I mean, I've got a lot more season here left and a lot of food. You know what I mean? The all the work that we do in the summer.
Trump just overtook Pennsylvania 50.8 to 48.2. Sorry, my mouth's full, but that was exciting.
There you go. Yeah.
I didn't mean to throw you off.
No, sorry.
Oh, Dave McCormick taking the Senate in Pennsylvania too. That's a big one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, the last season left. I guess what I was saying is all the work that we do over the summer. I mean, it really starts to pay off in December. You know, when those deer start coming back to green, and so yeah, man. I mean, it's just soaking it in.
Scent Armor guy. We both washed in Scent Armor before we went out.
Oh yeah.
Hey, we told you that we were going to bring it up again. There it is. You're welcome. What is the deer you got on camera cruising midday? So the deer that Jared killed was cruising at 11:30. Got him on camera. Jared was set up about 1:30 and killed him about 3:15, 3:30.
Yep.
So yeah, that was the deer that was cruising midday. He went into like a bedding area, probably around a pond. Jared set up downwind off some scrapes, and he came in crushing them at about 3:15. I can't plan that any better, I don't think.
It's wild, man. Well, for about every, 30 times you do that, maybe more, 30 to 100, depending on where you're hunting, it works out.
Yep. Well, and I think for a lot of you guys listening to this, and you've seen Josh on the podcast and stuff, we've had this conversation multiple times and had it even on the way out. It's hard to describe, like, obviously with what's happened in Nebraska and stuff, and just who Josh is. Like, he's 6'2", freakishly muscular guy. Like, there's a lot of stereotypes around him and like who he is and like just how he acts. Like, you're like, oh, like that can't be real. It's got to be an act. Dude, as much as I can tell, and we've had many conversations, Josh Bowmar is who Josh Bowmar is. He is, number one, he is a absolute deer fanatic. He lives it. He breathes it. He sleeps it. He thinks it. He is constantly just engraved in it. Number two is, I would say he's unbelievably generous. We've talked about the amount of work that we've put into our own properties. Josh has put that same work into his properties. He has never hunted that farm. He set that farm up, and he basically just handed it over to us and just said, yeah, there's an awesome deer on there. You guys should go kill him. Like, no strings attached. Just basically out of the excitement of like when he came and saw that deer with you, he was as excited as you were.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know people can just kind of read the book from the outside, and that's fine. It's your right to have those kind of conversations and thoughts, but I don't think either of us have ever experienced anything but like, tell you what, that dude loves deer hunting and he's a great person.
Yeah, man. He's a lot of fun to be around. I mean, he's intense. I mean, I can see how he can rub some people the wrong way, and he's not going to stop. Like, if you don't like, it's almost like, and I get it from hearing some of his conversations with his neighbors and stuff. If they're like, well, but he's gonna accomplish his goal basically, and it's like you can agree and compliment and be on the team, or you can like get out of the way, or it's happening either way.
Well, I think it was funny, just like even having this conversation now with Josh and Truck is like, one in the
Which
county.
was cool because honestly, dude, we don't spend a lot of
We don't.
in-person time with Josh. We've done
No.
hours of podcasts, two different 4-hour
Yep.
podcasts or whatever. And we met him at a trade show one time in person. But those situations are kind of like, people are flocking to their booths and stuff. And he's got all his 200
Yeah, he's busy.
stuff. And so this was the first night where it's like, we can kind of be like, dude, it's us in deer camp around a giant deer, and it's fun. It's real.
Well, I think one of the things, like we were just shooting the shit, when he was like, when the counties we hunt here in Iowa got a new game warden, and he's like, yeah, I called him up in the first when he answered, he's like, hey, hey, heard we got a new herd bull in the area, and it, people will say, oh, that's him just like working this. From my experience, that's just Josh. He's just laid back. Like, is Josh successful? Absolutely. Does Josh own a shitload of property in Iowa? Absolutely. But like his enthusiasm for it, his mindset around the fair chase aspect of it. In fact, I heard him, I think it was on the call with you and I, you said you found the arrow and you're like, what the hell is this? And it's like, oh, my neighbor killed one of my target bucks or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, hey, that's fair chase. It's an old mature buck. Crossed the line.
Yeah.
Neighbor killed it. That's just how it goes.
That's how it goes.
Yeah. And it's just, is he operating at a different level than the majority of us? Absolutely. But from a passion standpoint, if you ran into that dude or you had that dude in like your hunting camp, you would feed off of the enthusiasm that he brings to the table. Which is kind of
I know I do. Well, it's fun because like I think my passion for deer hunting is like it rivals his. Like he and I,
sure.
And it's fun because it's like it's not a contest.
No,
it's not like I'm more passionate about it or whatever. But it's
fun
when
you can align with those,
because you and I are the same way because it's just like we say something that's just like people will be like, "You're friggin' nuts, dude." And you and I are just like, "Yeah,
you get it, right?"
I heard what you just said.
And
you were like.
Yeah, well, it's just there's not, I won't say there's not many people because I'm hoping a lot of people listen to this are like that, but in the grand scheme of things, there's not a ton of people out there that function that way. So when you come across someone, right, it's like they're like, oh yeah, oh my husband hunts. You're like, yeah, cool, and then like you start talking to him and he's like, yeah, I got some. Like, what do you?
Oh, like sure they do.
Yeah, and then they're like, all of a sudden you're like 20 minutes in the conversation, you're like, so you actually hunt? And he's like, you actually hunt? And you're like,
yeah.
All right.
Okay. Yeah.
Tips touch. But that's the kind of, and it's just because it's not very common, because how many of us have run into people when it's like, they're like, oh yeah, I hunt. And you're like, oh, cool. And you're like, so like, are you doing this? Oh, no. And then like, I'm, but we got camp coming up and I'm going to hunt. And it's like,
well, that's okay. I mean, we're looking for people who love it as much as we do. And not that people don't, but it's like who have taken it to the level that we have,
right?
And whether it's the sacrifice or just the
yellow bellies. Oh yeah, dude, we're Coors Banquet. This was a must need. For anybody that missed it but did see Jared's buck, I'm not shitting you.
Here, I'll pull. I can't pull up a picture.
That's the base. Yeah. Like dead serious. That is the base of the buck that he killed. Girth. Spartan Forge in chat. What?
Yo.
Yeah. Why you gotta want it bad enough? It's an interesting thing. That's what we were talking about earlier about like whether it's booners or whether it's just killing big deer or whatever. The fact is like every year there are big deer out there to be killed. Every year. If you're from Ohio or from Pennsylvania or from West Virginia or whatever, and there's big deer to be killed in Illinois, and you don't go after them, then you're not going to kill them. But they're there. They're available every single year. Like you have to want it. You have to figure out how to get it. This trip for Jared and I has been over a year and a half probably in the making. Like when we finally realized like, okay, we're not going to draw in 23, but likely we will draw in 24. We started kind of shaking the networking tree, which is like, and you guys have seen these guys on the podcast. It's like, cool. Skip Sly. Hey man, like we're coming out. Chris Duncan. Hey, we're coming out. Josh Bowmar.
Not
hey,
like
an
expecting way.
No.
But just,
what are our options, man? Like, where should we even look? What should we do? What zone should we go to? We didn't, when we came out, it was like the only thing that was in our mind was like Zone 5, Bill Winke. Like that was kind of like the original, like, okay, this is the Mecca. So it's just like when we are a year and a half out from drawing, we're starting that process of thinking. And it's not that different in Kansas. Like we've hunted Southeast Kansas for a long time. We put in for a point this year. We will likely draw in we'll draw in Kansas next year. But we've already had the discussion that like where we were at in Southeast Kansas, it's not like it used to be. So we're now going to probably venture to another state. So what are we going to do? Probably the moment we get through this season, right? December, January, we're going to start picking up the phones and texting. Hey, hey, we're probably going to hunt Kansas next year. We've been hunting this area, but we're not thinking that that's the spot for us. What do you guys think? Northeast, Western, like what's the EHD look like? What's CWD look like? What's the pressure look like? And it's just building a plan. It literally, when we talk about being, a year plus in the making, that's what it is. Meanwhile, back home, it's like, yeah, we have it at our fingertips. We can go out and do stuff.
I can remember the day where I was like, dude, why aren't we putting in for Iowa points? Like we need to start putting in for Iowa points. That was 6 years ago.
Dude, when I was on my way home, I was talking to my dad, and he was so, the dads are crazy. He's like, I told him, I was like, hey, Jared stuck a big one. This is before you found it. And so when I was on the way home, he called me like 3 times. Finally answered. I was like, hey, he's like, what happened? I was like, it's a mega. And I was like, he's got it. It was like, I'm going there now to see it. And he's like, whoa. He's like, listen, man. He's like, I know it's crazy. He's like, I'm thinking retirement. He's like, I got to start putting in for points. I was like, Dad, I was like, I bought Harlan, Carter, and you all an Iowa point this year. And he's like, what? You did? What? And I was like, because I knew the non-resident loophole was going away. And I was like, we got to start putting in for you guys. Mm. And he's like, so I already have a point. I was like, got a point. I was like, next year I have another point. I said, if we go late season, you may even draw the third year. If we want to do what we're doing now, it might be 4 or 5 years out. But it's like, and he's like, oh, that's great. He's like, we have a Kansas point, right? I'm like, yeah, we all got Kansas points this year. So next year we'll hunt Kansas. And so, even in that scenario, it's like just trying to think ahead of like what's coming down the pipeline. And honestly, one thing I think has been really cool is like, we've gotten a lot of Instagram messages of guys who have tagged out in Ohio or Pennsylvania or Kentucky or Illinois, whatever it is. And they're like, the hunger's there, right? They're like, okay, hypothetically, it was Halloween and like, I'm tagged out in Ohio. Like, what do I do next? I'm like, cool. What have you gone out to Illinois? It's over the counter. Have you gone out to Missouri? It's over the counter. I had a guy from Ohio write us. He tagged out in Ohio earlier than he ever had. He's like, I'm thinking about hunting, Pennsylvania. What do you think? I'm like, okay, A&F, if you're going to go public, right? Just big mass areas, but you can get deer with age.
You're like, you're going the wrong direction, bud.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but the big thing for him is like, he's like, hey, I've got a vacation I got to use. Like, I got to go now. He's like, I was going to buy my license online. I'm like, no, don't, because you can't hunt until you receive those tags. That's 5 to 8 days later. So just wait until you get in the state, go to Walmart, buy your tags. You can hunt immediately. So, if there's a cool thing about these conversations about social media and stuff, it's like all of this conversation and awareness has been out there. And I do think that, and I get it to a point, I think that and this is obviously coming from a non-resident, the non-resident side gets beat up a little bit. Like, oh man, we're the resident. And I 100% believe that all the favors should go to the resident. But like, don't deter somebody from coming to your state because you think they're going to kill your buck or something. It's like, these people love hunting. They want to do something different. They want an adventure. They want an experience. If you're one of the states that has, a plethora of hunting opportunities, like, I'm not saying give up your spot, but I'm just saying, like, these guys aren't coming with malicious intent. They're coming because they're like, this is the Mecca. Well, this is wild.
It's kind of like we always say. It's like, and it's not like I want anchor directed at anyone, but it's like that's going to happen whether you want it to or not. You know what I mean? It's like, and guys like Jeremy and I, like, we can't help but get on here and tell you guys how much, we love to deer hunt, and how fun it is to go out of state.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's anything inherently wrong about that. But at the same time, I do wish that some states would tighten up just the ability to kill these deer.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it comes down to. You know what I mean? It's like
just purely opportunity.
The demand is the demand. You know what I mean? That's just going to happen. It's not like states are marketing it. I mean, maybe in some cases, but I mean, it's just hunting is cool. It's awesome. You know what I mean? And people have figured that out. And you know, states kind of get flooded with people and stuff. And so all you can hope for is that the states would respond and change regulation, you know, whether that's with cell cameras or with baiting or with like season dates and bag limits and stuff. Not bag limits, but season dates, I guess. Just to, you know, allow for opportunity, but still to just preserve the resource. Because, I mean, the difference between the effort that went into and the preparation and like ultimately what led to the deer that I killed tonight versus you know, just going and shooting a decent buck or a young deer or something is it just, I don't know. I'm not saying everybody has to live to that standard, but it's like it is possible, you know. I mean, and the states have the ability to manage the resource to that capacity. So I don't know. Every state is different, you know. I mean, it's like that's why we're in Iowa. I'm not saying every state has to be Iowa, and it should be the residents' decision on how that kind of goes down. But if you want to kill big bucks, you got to go where big bucks are.
Blake, I don't know how many. We're not that deep. Five, 6.
No, I'm on my third.
Really?
Beer?
Yeah,
third beer.
Okay. 4 or 5. 3, 4, 5.
Third beer.
Just so you guys are aware, we're still sitting at 212 electoral votes for Trump. If my math is correct, that is 58 to the 270 needed to win. Harris is at 119. Currently, I briefly caught that. Oh, House has flipped 3 to the Republican side. The Senate has flipped 1 to the Republican side. They're 2 away from the majority. Trump has the majority of the votes. We have an election alert. I don't know what that means. And it is Maine. 2 electoral votes of Maine going to Kamala. Okay. And 1 actually going back to Trump. So 212 to 119. That's where we're standing at right now. If you guys are paying attention to the election, which you should. Not trying to be rude, but how did you lose your ring finger? That's a great question.
Yeah, it was my wedding ring got caught on a tree stand my first year of marriage. Because I had a tungsten, it's a metal ring, another heavy duty. It caught on I had a Hawk traction stick.
I freaking love that comment from Justin, not to interrupt. Somewhere in Iowa, Bill Wiki is punching air right now. Dude, we love Bill. He's a good friend of ours. And Jared and I obviously we had 18 hours in a vehicle together. And, I would say, not that anybody is, we watch every one of Bill Winky's videos.
I do, for sure.
Every one of them.
Yep.
And boy, I feel Bill's pain.
Yeah.
Because his farm is beautiful, and frankly,
it's okay.
I don't understand how it doesn't have. It's Iowa, and it's a good-looking farm. How it doesn't have deer?
I think it's doing him a lot of good, honestly. Like, I'm not saying he deserves it by any means, but like, you know, he was just living the Iowa life for a long time, you know what I mean? And he worked hard for it, you know, and pieced together a 1,000-acre farm or whatever it was.
Keep talking.
Yeah. You know, and he killed some awesome deer off of that. And I commend his, I think his decision to sell that farm and to move to where he's at now was a family decision. He wanted to be closer to his folks and stuff. But I'm sure he didn't want to give up, you know, great deer hunting either. So I know he leased a farm for a year or two and killed some good deer there. So, I mean, it felt like the area was, would produce, you know, the experience and the quality of deer that he was after and stuff. And just for whatever reason, the farm that he bought just seems like it isn't doing it. I don't know why, you know, and I'm sure he doesn't either. You know, he's got the food on there. He's done a ton of work on it. Just burned off most of it, timber burns and food plots, and hinge cuts, about everything you could do on the farm there. And really just time has to pass, deer have to get older, and, habitat has to grow and evolve and whatever else. But and I'm sure the farm will improve over time. But in the meantime, not from like a big brother's the wrong word, not from condescending standpoint. Like I'm glad that I hate to see him suffering, but I'm also glad that he's experiencing it, because it's yeah.
Just from an appreciation.
Just because like that's the reality. You know what I mean? It's most guys will hunt and just struggle from year to year to year to year and just never. There you go.
There you go, guys. You guys are seeing that. That is Jared's monstrosity of a mainframe 8. Did you count scorables?
No.
I mean,
I'm going to say 8,
north of
9,
15?
8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 scoreable points. 13.
13 scoreable.
Kicker.
Yep, that's it.
Maybe 14. 13, 14.
Guys, I'm seriously not kidding. The bottom of the chorus can. The bottom of the chorus can is the mass of that deer. So, anyways, if you guys were looking, that was my reaction of like the holy shit moment of, boy, that's a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be. Sorry, you need to finish. The finger story.
Oh yeah, well I got caught on a hawk traction stick and ripped it off. Basically, is all it was. I was hanging the set, hung the bottom stick. Those traction sticks have little peaks and valleys on there, so is how they market it as for traction for your boots and stuff. I hung the first stick, hung the second stick. I was climbing down to get the third. I guess it's on me. I wasn't wearing a harness, but truthfully, I don't think it would have done anything different. Or maybe I was wearing a harness, but I didn't have a lineman's belt. Yeah, that's what it was. And so I was only like a foot off the ground, and I had my ring on, and I let go with my left hand, and I kind of like leapt. I kind of jumped to the ground, and I was, like I said, I was about a foot off the ground, so it wasn't a long way. And I just got caught. I'll show you, like on my rubber ring here. I just got caught right there, like underneath. And just my body weight alone was enough and the jerking of it was enough. It caught it and pulled it most of the way off. So not all the way. I mean, I kind of stepped back up on her and pulled it off like this. And I'm looking down at it, and the finger's sitting like this.
Ugh.
And my initial reaction was dislocated, because I just saw it sitting there. I was like, oh, it just, the knuckle popped, and it was sitting straight sideways. And so I got in the machine, and my friend of ours, Brian, was with me, and this is on my Ohio farm, and I might have been hunting goose that year as a 4-year-old. Yeah, I think that's right.
Yep,
probably would have killed him there too. And so we're driving back to the house, and like I've been badly hurt, right? Worse than that. So I'm familiar with like I'm like, okay, it's not a lethal injury.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, but not great either. So
you call me because at that time you were working,
and that was a while after I'd been to the hospital.
You call me and you're like, hey, because it was like
not in here at all.
Sorry, it was like normal hunting season.
Oh boy, my phone's gonna die. Here, let me switch these over. Right,
what's happening?
My phone's gonna die. Let me switch this over. Yeah, I got 97 here.
Yep, and normal hunt. It was like in the midst of hunting season, like cranking, and you were like, yeah, it wasn't a great morning. I'm like, what happened? You like miss a buck or something? You're like, no, I ripped my finger off. I'm like, what?
Yeah. Well, I was pretty collected by then. I'd been to the hospital already, and they're like, yeah, we got to send you to Pittsburgh. And I still didn't know at that point, like, if they were going to be
Mike Lauer on there.
Yeah, Lauer's been on there. Lauer called me on the way there.
There you go, boys and girls. That's what we're talking about. That is what we're looking at. That is mass. That deer also is like the classic deer of you and I are big fans of time mass, which unfortunately gets no credit. Yeah. But when you look at
most impressive thing.
When you look at a deer with time mass, you're like, shit.
It's just heavy all the way up.
Heavy. Yeah, there are points of like the bases of tines on that deer that are like.
Did you know what you were getting? Like,
no.
Yeah.
I told you when Bowmar sent, not in a disrespectful way, when he sent us that picture, I was pretty adamant it was high 60s, which is giant.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
That's what I went to kill.
It's a monster. But I say that because Bowmar's like, well, I don't know, man. I think he could give 80 a run. I'm like, there's no way. Mm-hmm. It's not possible. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm looking at the frame of this deer on the body. I'm like,
Did you believe me when I was telling you? When you were driving home, I was like, dude,
Yeah, because I heard the conviction in your voice.
I was like, he's a giant.
But prior to that, when he shot him, I was like, okay. Like, I mean, big deer. Really big deer.
Yeah.
When you said he was toast, I'm like, okay. But, like, I didn't get a reaction of it. Yeah. When I talked to you and you're like, dude, when you said, like, I think at some point you told me you're like, I have the biggest deer of my life in the background. I'm like, what? Like, that's because you killed a booner.
Yeah.
Like a 6x6.
Yeah.
Big deer. Really big deer. And, like, there was zero hesitation and, like, a weird humbleness to your voice when you said it.
Yeah.
And I was like,
the conviction, like you said.
That's a giant.
Yeah.
Because I told my dad, I was talking to my dad, and he's like, well, how big do you think it really is? I was like, I think it's a mega. And he's like, that's a big deer. I'm like, no, I really think it's a mega. Like I said, I talked to Jared, and he said, without hesitation, it was the biggest deer that he's ever killed. Without hesitation, he was speechless multiple times. I said, it's a monster. Mm-hmm. It's going to be a monster. Mm-hmm. And obviously, as soon as I pulled in and I started coming in and Bowmar had his light on it, as soon as I saw the frame, I'm like,
well, you heard Bowmar's reaction too.
Yeah.
I jumped on the phone.
A guy
what did you think of that? Where you're like, oh my gosh. Like,
a guy who's killing 200 inches.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, Bowmar's going to be happy.
Yeah.
First. 216 to 193. Whoa, what the fudge nuggets did she just pick up?
She went from 119 to 193.
Harris is up to 193. What did she pick up? Well, we missed it. 193 to 216. So we're sitting at 54 away. We being Team Trump. But yeah, so so I was like, okay. But again, per this earlier conversation, Bowmar's very genuine in it. And dude, if we killed a 150-inch 8-point that's 7 years old, Bowmar would still be excited about it. But when I heard him start to talk about pieces of the deer, he was
geeking out over it.
He was geeking out, and I'm like, that's what I'm like looking at my speedometer. I'm like, I'm going pretty fast right now. I'm flying through the air. This is not good. Yeah. I was all in it. I was like, boy, I gotta get in there pretty freaking quickly.
Dude, I could have easily hit your.
Dude, that's a really big one. So right now, Moreno, the Republican senator, has dethroned Sherrod Brown, who is the Democratic incumbent in Ohio, which means we have flipped the Senate seat in Ohio from Democrat to Republican. That's a big deal.
Too bad, Sherrod.
Big deal. Wasn't even close. Over 5 points. That's not even close. Wow. Yep. That's a big deal for you, Yins Ohioans. Santa Armor, California, and Oregon. That's what you got. Well, we expected those, so I guess that's not a big deal. 64 electoral votes for Cali. Holy balls!
How does this work?
What's that?
Mike, the Magic Man, sent a request to be a part of your thing.
No, how you do that?
I don't know.
Click it.
Why won't it let me click it?
Touch it. It
won't let me click that, Mike.
That's interesting. Yeah, I don't know how that works. Is it down there?
Yeah.
Can we bring him in? No way.
All right, Mike, we're bringing you in.
Oh, my gosh. Mike Lauer from Indiana, Pennsylvania. Where are you at? Oregon's at.
I don't know. I did it. I don't know if that works. I don't know what that does either. Mike said I don't know how to.
No!
Hey, JP!
Mike Lauer, straight from Indy. Listen, Mike, we're coming to you here from Iowa. We really are pretty concerned with what's going on in the Republican campaign. We heard that there's a few counties in Pennsylvania that they're not letting us in to make sure that the votes are being counted correctly. What do you think about that?
Hey, hang on a second, guys. I'm here live with Joe Biden from Pace's Dairy Mart. Joe Biden. This is Joe Biden. Got ice cream here.
I don't know if I told you, Mike. He almost came down. Did I tell you that?
So cool.
It's so cool.
To the Pace Dairy Mart?
Yeah.
Hey, he loves ice cream.
I was down there cleaning the lot one morning, and people were texting me. They're like, "Oh, I heard a big day for you, big day." And I'm like, "What do you mean? What's going on?" They're like, "Oh, we heard Biden might be stopping down." I'm like, "Oh,
was he invited?"
No, he's not invited, and it's just it's an Pittsburgh institution. So, but he ended up going to
Brewster.
Sheets,
Mm-hmm.
Sheets, and
If he would have came to Pages,
buying some steel workers, some subs, some steak sandwiches,
pepperoni.
Mike, just the live commentary here. Your brother in arms over here just probably killed a 180-inch deer.
Oh, I saw the post and I immediately called him and he answered and I said, "Booyah!" He goes, "Dude, I was just on the phone with him to hang up."
That's what he said. He's like, "You better call your buddy Brackett." And I was like, that's why I missed your call, dude. I was just on the phone with him.
That's so cool. I'm so just like, I can't believe it. And then I finally got to see the picture and he's like, no, stay on the phone. I want to hear your reaction. Same thing. I just kind of got quiet. I was like, oh my, like that's
nuts,
so special.
Dude, I was pulling the trailer in the Polaris Ranger and stuff, and I'm like 3 minutes out, and I'm hearing Bowmar geeking over this thing. I'm just freaking that trailer's just fishtailing behind me. I'm just wailing in there, and I finally told Jared, I was like, "Dude, I'm coming in hot. Like, just get out the way."
That's so cool. I can't believe that JP. He goes, it's an 8 point, and he's so humble. And I look at him like, there's points everywhere. That's not an 8 point.
Yeah, we're from Pennsylvania, bro. We count everything.
Yeah, we count all the points here.
I'd eat those horns.
Yeah.
Well,
that's so funny. I got a quick funny story that lets you get back to being professional. I won't curse or say anything stupid. But this is a true story you guys will laugh at. So yesterday morning, 2 mornings ago, I'm laying here right here. I got a newborn baby, so we don't sleep. And I snuck downstairs to my little man cave. I got some deer behind me. Always got
Jerry Seinfeld cranking. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I look out. I wake up at whatever, like just at daylight, and I look out my window, and I have permission to hunt all the property around my house. And I reach for my phone to see what time it is. My phone's dead. So I'm like, So I plug my phone, and when I plug my phone in, I fell asleep with my contacts, and I look out the window. There's 2 giants, 2 Western Pennsylvania giants, which is like a 140. Mm-hmm. 130.
Yeah, 3-year-olds. We're in them.
And I'm just like, 8th grade study hall boner. I'm like, oh my god, So I had to hurry up and grab my bow, and I couldn't figure out where I placed my compound, but I had my recurve in my office here because I'm practicing with it, and I sleep butt ass naked, and I'm
with the window open. I hope that's not a problem.
Oh no! And I had my fan going, so I had to take my field point off, put the one broadhead my sharpening station on. I grab the recurve, and then I grab this blanket, throw it at me, and I stick my head out the sliding door, and I go.
Yep.
All of a sudden, you see both of them turn their heads, and an even bigger buck, like a 145, comes barreling towards me. So again, I'm butt ass naked. I threw this blanket over me.
Just for people seeing it.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, half as big as that. I run outside to my chicken coop with this blanket around me. I put my finger tabs on.
Very Sacagawea like at this point.
I'm hiding behind the chicken coop, and here comes this dude in a truck, and he's like, by my driveway down the main road. And he looks over, he sees two big bucks, an even bigger buck crossing the road, and some naked jackass it's 30 in the morning with a blanket around him, like at his ET, trying to put my finger tabs on, and I'm going like this, get the fuck out of here.
You're gonna blow it.
But it stayed at like 35 yards and went back into the woods next to my house. So tomorrow morning, I'm going in there, going in country. My buddy who owns a deer farm, he always hooks me up with some scents and stuff. So I'm pretty confident.
We might be living in a whole different country tomorrow morning, Mike.
Yeah, I told Christy, I was like, I'm going to take your car. She's like, well, I'm like, I got to fill it up with gas. Who knows what's going to happen? She's like, I'm a girl.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, at least the old JP brought us venison. We'll survive for a few days.
Yeah, you guys will be good for a while. How much did that deer weigh?
We don't know yet. We right after this, we got to make sure we get off in time to figure out how to get in the garage of our Airbnb and hang him on the gambrel. And I don't know. Jeremy thinks he's hit 300.
I thought he was 300 on the hoof.
Right. So he's probably.
I was thinking he was going to be 260 field dressed.
I would say 240 to 260 field dressed.
That's
mega.
That's nuts. And then, so an Iowa buck, clearly bigger than a Western Pennsylvania buck. I mean, we don't have small deer, but
yeah,
clearly
they are.
Yeah, they're not eating off the old reclaimed strip mines of Indiana County.
They're what we call a big game fish. So yeah, they're pretty big.
A sport fish, so yeah, they're pretty big.
Pretty important.
I forgot where I was at. Damn it, Dale.
How'd that do that?
I got caught on the wire here.
Okay.
All right, Laura.
Thanks,
we'll
Mike.
We'll let you get
we
some
appreciate the cameo.
Yep, I appreciate being on LinkedIn. That was cool. I don't know how to leave here. I had to get canceled.
We'll figure it out. What's that?
I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure how to either, Mike. Can you X on your end or something?
See, Mike. I think that worked. Well, just to give everybody an update, it is 10:18 Central Time. Trump has 216 electoral votes, 54 away from the 270 needed. Harris is sitting at 193 electoral votes because she just picked up California, which is a given, and Oregon, also a given. You just pulled that out. I'll try to get you covered.
Oh, easy.
I got you. Felt like Doc Brown from Back to the Future plugging that in.
Guys, I think I'm still live here. I just got to text.
Oh, they're still live.
Text your buddy here real quick.
Cool. Well, we appreciate everybody still on YouTube. Nick was saying that there are YouTube comments. What the hell is this, dude? I don't know what that does. What's this do? Sorry, guys. I am not real sure how to see your comments on YouTube. It's always been so freaking easy. And I don't understand why it's not easy right now.
Crap. I ended a live video.
On YouTube? Or
on Instagram, yeah.
You should be able to bring it back.
Live video ended. Crap. Do I need to post that? Like, post it live? Share?
You can if you want.
Nah.
It's more just for everybody else.
It is what it is. Discard.
Okay, guys, I'm still trying to figure out.
I'll tell you what, dude. I'm ready to go. Spend some time on the buck.
Okay, cool. All right, guys. We'll probably share some stories and whatnot here. Quick update. Just looking at this: Georgia, Trump at 51, Harris at 48.3. North Carolina, Trump at 50.8, Harris at 48.1. Wisconsin, Trump at 50.7, Harris at 47.8. And our good old state of Pennsylvania, Trump at 51.1, Harris at 47.9. With 75% of the precincts in. So still too early to call, but all of the swing states looking red as of right now. So Jared and I are going to go probably crack a beer and marvel over the buck, right?
Yeah.
That's what we're going to do. And we will plan on keeping you guys updated the rest of this week on how hunting's going via the Instagram story for the most part. I don't even know what freaking it's Tuesday. It's Election Tuesday.
Yeah.
We got a new podcast coming out 6 p.m. Eastern time on Thursday with Jared and I and Mr. Chris Booyah Brackett.
Oh yeah.
It'll be a really good one. If you guys are looking for some good content here on Thursday. Friday, we got another from the field drop in that from the last week or so of Jared and I hunting. Sunday, we've got a hunt companion coming out. And we'll just keep on cranking. But if you guys need anything, hunt companion, write us on Instagram, write us on YouTube. We'll be paying attention to that. Again, it's November 5th. November 6th is going to look probably a lot different depending on how this election lands. And I'm sure while Jared and I are still awake over the next hour or so, and we're marveling at that buck, we'll be on Instagram or something. So if you guys need us, holler at us. We appreciate everybody, and we'll see you next time.
Later.